It might not look like it, but that is the fastest car in this entire car park. This, dear viewers, is the Škoda Superb Sleeper, and as that name suggests, it'll catch you out when you least expect it.
This thing is like a pack-a-punch Wunderwaffe. The noises are nuclear.
This Superb is a very entertaining and, frankly, quite successful PR project from Škoda to see how much fun they could have with what is usually their most sensible and relaxed product. The base car is a Škoda Superb 280 Estate in the Lauren and Clement trim, which, by the way, was the name of a Czech car manufacturer from 1895. That's 130 years ago. Which was then bought by an industrial conglomerate with a familiar name, Škoda Works, in 1925, before then rebranding into Škoda Auto, the largest car manufacturer in the Czech Republic that we know today. How's that for some pub trivia?
The important bit that you need to know about is that this is the highest, fattest, poshest trim level available on a Škoda product, and because of that this car is very, very well equipped. In fact, this might be one of the nicest cars I've had the pleasure of spending time in, which is funny considering that historically there's a certain bias that Škoda has been burdened with, unfairly. But let's say that this car here is a little less Passat and a little bit more Audi A6.
Inside, it has heated and cooled seats, front and rear, a great sound system, loud and crisp, a heated steering wheel for your fingers, which don't seem to leave any prints on this Apple CarPlay screen, which also works perfectly. Big points for Škoda. There's a big panel roof for your kids too, so they can see the world go by and not get travel sick all over this gorgeous, soft as brown leather. It is absolutely delicious.
But that's not really the main purpose of this car, nor is it the reason you clicked on this video. I think Škoda were not aiming for the A6 with this project. I think they had their sights set on the RS6.
And I say RS6 and not RS4 because, frankly speaking, the RS4 is too easy. I recently had the chance to spend some time in a really hot RS4. Here's a photo of it, and it was fantastic. I had an utterly brilliant time with it. But this thing is faster. It doesn't make me feel as attractive or as punchy as the RS4 did, but this is nicer. So, what did Škoda actually do to give this car its dragon-slaying credentials?
Well, they gave it to a group of engine wizards by the name of RE Performance, who then shoved a stick of dynamite up its bottom in the form of a Garrett PowerMax turbo, elevating the 2-litre 4-cylinder E888 engine to 480 brake horsepower. That's a lot.
That is more than an RS4, but it's quite a bit less than an RS6.
Sure, but here's something you probably weren't expecting. This thing is half a ton lighter than an RS6, and I'm not joking, I'm not making this up. This car weighs 1,575 kilo. That's not a lot for a big estate car. And in fact, it's not just lighter than an RS6, it's lighter than an RS3 saloon.
So then, our Ultimate Sleeper is clearly a featherweight with a turbocharged left hook. But can it also bounce on its heels and outsmart its competition? I think so. To go alongside this newly found performance, the Superb is equipped with all the supporting mods you can dream of. It's on a set of very expensive KW coilovers, which bring it closer to the earth. It has upgraded 6-piston AP calipers, 390mm worth of groove discs, and braided brake lines, meaning it can stop quickly enough to give you a headache. And to top it all off, it comes on infinitely sticky Yokohama rubber.
And the final result, well, it's quite the riot, as I'm sure you can imagine. The turbo is insane. It feels like a piece of military equipment. The noises it makes is like the type of thing you'd hear in a video game. It is so quick. Jesus Christ, it's so quick. I was doing the speed limit there and that felt ridiculously quick. Jesus Christ. What a crazy bit of kit. You know, I always read car reviews, mags, watched car shows from the 90s, early 2000s, and the sports cars they would be driving would always rely on a big turbo to get them going, because that's what the technology was like back then. And the journalists used to always write about turbo lag and all this stuff. And I always thought, I bet that was a lot of fun. And I thought, I'm kind of missing out because modern day technology doesn't really work that way. No, this car makes up for that. I no longer have any FOMO. This is what it must have been like. And I can see why they loved it, because it's great fun. The handling on this thing is pretty good, although I'm going to make the bold assumption that that's not all down to just the coilovers. I'm going to say the tyres that this thing is on helps a lot as well. They're super sticky and they give you a lot of feedback. In fact, I could probably tell you what paint was used to paint the stripes on this road. That's how good they are. The brakes are fantastic, but I do have two complaints about them. Firstly, they're very squeaky, which is okay if you're in the know, because if you're in the know, you know that cold performance brakes squeak. That's why you see hypercars cruising around cities. They always got squeaky brakes. But because this is a Skoda, people don't think you're a performance driver. They think you just are overdue a brake service, which is annoying. And my other complaint on them is that if I stamp at them too hard, they make my eyes hurt. They're really, 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 really strong. In fact, there's nothing behind me. Look, I'm going to stop. And I've stopped, and my eyes hurt. I do feel a smidge sorry for this thing, because as of now it's on 14,500 miles, and I know every single one of those miles have been covered by a journalist like me, who have inevitably spanked the living daylights out of this thing. So everything has probably been worn out 10 times the rate it normally would wear out at. So to be true, I can hear a lot of road noise and suspension noise that you wouldn't hear in a regular Superb or maybe a regular RS product, cars that are actually designed to kind of cope with, you know, being driven at 7, 8, 9 tenths of a driver's ability. Lower arms, they click a little in the rear, the anti-roll bar makes grunting noises. The four-wheel drive Haldex system is great, but it is creaking at slow speeds. When I'm just getting somewhere around town, I'm almost a little bit worried as to whether or not I'm going to make it where I'm trying to get to, because every time I pull up to a set of red lights, it sounds like the Titanic mid-sink. I've had this car twice now. This is the first press car of my career that I've asked for to come back again, because I enjoyed it so much the first time round. There's something super plucky and noble and fun about a car that doesn't look quick, but is blisteringly quick. But to answer the question, you know, is it the ultimate sleeper? I'll put it this way. Every single time I come up to a set of red lights against a car that by the book is significantly faster than one of these, I'll always put my foot down. And when you come up to the following set of lights, the person next door always pulls up behind me, rolls down the window and says, "What the hell is that thing?" So clearly it does its purpose. Nobody expects it to be quick. Nobody expects it to go the way it does, the corner to stop the way it does. It's a sleeper. It is it's the definition of a sleeper. I really like it. It is, as I've established earlier, it is quicker than an RS4. I don't know if it can punch up to the RS6. which I kind of wish it could. Would I enjoy an RS6 as much as this thing though? I don't think so. This is more fun. All these noises, all these spaceship noises. It's ridiculous. This is a spaceship. It sounds like a spaceship, but it looks like a Balkan taxi. It's unreal. This is the Ultimate Sleeper. It has to be. I cannot think of a more unassuming looking car. Well done, Skoda. This is it.
All in all, this might genuinely be the most fun, surprising, and importantly lovable car that I've ever laid my hands on. And no, I really do mean that. Think of all the things you want a car to do. You want it to be comfortable, tick. You want it to be efficient, tick. You want it to be fun to drive, definitely tick. All while being big enough inside so you can throw a bike in the back and then struggle to get it out, or literally move an entire house in it, or even collect and safely deliver the most very precious of cargo. This Superb isn't a jack of all trades, it is a master. It is a master of all of its trades. And the best bit? You can still use this as a regular, unassuming, civilized, comfortable Skoda. And that, dear viewers, is called character, the most important currency in the world of cars, and the glue that sticks all the good technical bits together. People on the internet cry moan all the time, new cars have no soul, they're boring, blah 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 blah. Well, look at this. Look at Skoda. They've crammed it with character. And 20 years ago, people were comparing Skodas to Skips. And now it's one of my favourite cars that I've had the pleasure of experiencing. How's that for progress? Oh, and it will dust the previous gen RS6. Do not ask me how I know. But if I come across a new RS6 on the way home, I'll let you know how that goes. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed, maybe you'll like the other films we've made on that hand side of your screen. If you want to support further than that, we also have a web store full of goods for you to enjoy, such as stickers and hats and t-shirts and hoodies. candyshowroom.co.uk/shop. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you in the next video, where I drive something probably less interesting than that. Take care.